The so-called glitch in the matrix. Some believe in it, others don't. But what neither of the two types of people can deny is how strange things can be when you have deja vu moments where you swear that you've lived that moment already, even though consciously you know you didn't. Or when dreaming about something and it actually ends up happening a few days later. What about the Mandela effect? Like people swearing there was a Jiffy peanut butter when in reality it has always been just Jif. The Monopoly Man and his monocle, or lack thereof. The hyphen in the Kit Kat chocolate bar, which there was never a hyphen in the name. The Berenstain Bears. Many remember the popular children's book series as Berenstain Bears, but it's actually spelled Berenstain Bears. Or when you live an entire life only to wake up having been unconscious and then realizing everything was just in your head, which eerily enough kinda connects everything to us potentially living in a simulation, with big names like Elon Musk and Joe Rogan speaking about the big possibility of life just being a simulation. But before we get too far down this rabbit hole, let's dive right into a real life story of a Reddit user who had an experience with probably the craziest case of a glitch in the matrix. January 11th, 2012. A Redditor by the name of Temp to Toss Soon took to Reddit to share an experience so extreme that it had left him in deep depression for the last 3 years prior to the post going live. He writes the following. Throwaway account, because this is really personal. My last semester at a certain college, I was assaulted by a football player for walking where he was trying to drive. He was 325 pounds, and I was just 120 pounds. While unconscious on the ground, I lived a different life. I met a wonderful young lady. She made my heart skip and my face red. I pursued her for months and dispatched a few jerk boyfriends before I finally won her over. After 2 years, we got married, and almost immediately, she bore me a daughter. I had a great job, and my wife didn't have to work outside of the house. When my daughter was 2, she, my wife, bore me a son. My son was the joy of my life. I would walk into his room every morning before I left for work and die to him and my daughter. One day, while sitting on the couch, I noticed that the perspective of the lamp was just odd, like inverted. It was still in 3D, but just wrong. I was transfixed. I couldn't look away from it. I stayed up all night staring at it. The next morning, I didn't go to work. Something was just not right about that lamp. I stopped eating. I left the couch only to use the bathroom at first. Soon I stopped that too, as I wasn't eating or drinking. I stared at the fucking lamp for 3 days before my wife got really worried. She had someone come and try to talk to me. By this time, my cognizance was just breaking up and my wife was just freaking out. She took the kids to her mother's house just before I had my epiphany. The lamp was not real. The house is not real. My wife, my kids, none of it is real. The last 10 years of my life are not fucking real. The lamp started to grow wider and deeper. It was still inverted dimensions. It took up my entire perspective and all one could see was red. I heard voices, screams, all kinds of weird noises, and I became aware of pain. A fucking shit ton of pain. The first words I said, "I'm missing teeth." And I opened my eyes. I was laying on my back on the sidewalk surrounded by people that I didn't know. Lots were freaking out. I was completely confused. At some point, a cop scooped me up and dragged me across the sidewalk and grass and threw me face down in the back of a cop car. I was still so confused. I was taken to the hospital by the cop. I went through 3 years of horrid depression. I was grieving the loss of my wife and children and dealing with the knowledge that they never existed. I was scared that I was going insane as I would cry myself to sleep, hoping I would see her in my dreams. I never have, but sometimes I see my son, usually just a glimpse out of my peripheral vision. He's perpetually 5 years old, and I can never hear what he says. After this post, the OP replied to some comments. Some users believing the story, others questioning it, and seeing it was just a throwaway account. We might never hear from this person again, which just adds to the mystery of the validity of the post. Did he disappear because it was all made up? Or did he disappear because they don't care for people to believe them or not? Which a lot of people do whenever they are telling the truth. What's the point of debating something you know is the truth? Let them think whatever, right? Or maybe they got the upvotes they wanted and or a few days of attention from Reddit, and that was that. One thing's for certain though, real or not, we cannot deny how fascinating and capable the human brain is.